Concerto time, concerto time. It is concerto time. My dolls, this is going to be my most challenging streamed performance yet. Celli and I are going to play the entire Kammermusik No. 3 Cello Concerto by Paul Hindemith. Now you might be wondering, Cello doll, what are you doing? That's crazy. Hear me out. Celli and I have been working on this piece for the entire school year in preparation for our conservatory's concerto competition. However, because of coronavirus, the competition had to be rescheduled to next year. When I first heard the news, I was extremely disappointed. Not only had I put in countless hours of practicing for the entire school year, but I was having weekly rehearsals with a pianist, playing it in my lessons regularly, just pouring hours of work and study into this piece and not being able to compete. So right now, I decided, as a reward for all of my hard work, I was going to make a performance situation happen. So, I am going to be playing this piece as if I am competing. No music, no stopping, and just putting my heart out there and giving it my all. I am so grateful you all are going to be joining me on this adventure, and it really is a beautiful gem not a lot of people know about in the cello repertoire. To be honest with you, dolls, I didn't know about it. And I am a music nerd, and I had not heard of this piece. Couple reasons why I think that is. It is more on the modern music spectrum, which can be hard for listeners to relate to, I understand, but it really is such a unique gem. It's also written for solo cello and 10 other instrumentalists, so what we would call a chamber orchestra size. So if you think about it, if you have these big symphonies with contracted players and they want to use all of their players, fill the audience seats, and play popular cello concertos, they're not going to pick Hindemith's Kammermusik No. 3. And it just is not performed a lot. And I'm going to tell you guys, before I play, I'm not stalling, I'm informing why I love this piece so much and what I imagine when I'm playing this piece. So here are some custom cello doll-esque notes, so you know what's going on in my head as I sit down and I play this entire concerto. I really see this piece as a story. I see most pieces as stories, but especially the Kammermusik is the tale of a hero. The hero grows, the hero is flawed, the hero experiences victories, trials, defeats. I really think it could be an entire story or movie. The first movement starts off with this grand statement of the cello playing with no one else, just the solo cello. And it really is this, here I am, this is me, I'm this big character, and I am ready for an adventure. It really is a big, grand statement. And the first movement is short. It is unusually short. And this big statement is repeated a few times in different parts of the cello. And I just really think it's setting the stage. It almost is like an introduction to the rest of the piece. So really imagine this heroic character coming on the scene. And then we have the second movement, which is stressful because it is fast and I am going everywhere. And it's almost like this quirky country dance, a little bit of fiddle music, a little bit of some jazzy rhythms. Who knows, maybe our hero is mustering up some courage, going to a few taverns, just really getting ready for his or her battle. So the second movement is quirky. There are some movements where I'm playing a lyrical passage, I'm playing a lot of busy stuff, a lot of different types of movements. So there's a tiny theme that's hidden and scurries in and out. So you dolls listen and see if you can hear the heroic theme kind of coming back. And this hero is, you could think of him as training, getting morale. The hero is getting ready for this battle or quest. Then we come to the third movement, which is my favorite. It is the slow movement, and it is so emotional. Oh my goodness. What I think of it is the hero is reflecting on a past lover or companion, because the first third, I am up on the A string, which is very much like a woman's soprano or alto operatic voice. So I was imagining a woman in my head singing this really tragic but beautiful melody, and there is so much angst in it, and I go really up high, really up high. So that just makes such, it just makes such oral tension in the ear, and I just feel sorrow and like a missed opportunity, some sort of regret. Then in the middle, I think the hero's voice comes in, because I'm more on the lower strings in the middle. And I think it's the hero reflecting on this time, reflecting on this loss or regret. And then the two voices, the high voice and the low voice, they kind of come together. And I'm doing all this weaving, these crazy scales going up and down, up and down, up and down. And then it explodes into just this outcry. The hero can't take the memory anymore, and he just has this moment of just total loss, total anger, fear. His emotions erupt. And I really think this time of growth is so important to the character, accepting his mistake or her mistake, accepting I missed out, or I lost something, or I lost someone so important to me. And I'm getting goosebumps, guys. It really is a powerful movement. And then we have the fourth movement, which is very quirky and a lot like the second movement. So we have movements 2 and 4 are kind of similar. And I don't know why, but this movement reminds me of The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, where they are just this quirky group of hobbits just going off, walking through the woods on this path to this big quest. And I think the fourth movement represents our hero finally ready and has matured enough and have grown to go off on their quest. So it has a very fun opening theme, and then we kind of have a little party. It reminds me a little bit of a hoedown. There's a lot of dance elements in this music, and I really feel that in the fourth movement. And the fourth movement kind of takes the quirkiness of the second movement with the heroic theme from the first movement, and there are some darker, brief moments of the third movement, so I really think it helps to bring them all together. And it just has this persevering, forward marching attitude, and it's my favorite movement to play. I love the fourth movement. That's the one that really spoke to me first off. And then as I learned the piece, I found these meanings in the other movements, but I really can't wait for you guys to hear the fourth movement. And I'm not just saying that so you watch until the end. I really love that movement. So that's kind of what is going on in my head. You guys get a little glimpse into the craziness that goes on in here as I'm playing. But I really wanted to do this, make a mock competition run through as a way to challenge myself during quarantine. You know, I'm trying to get creative in ways to make myself nervous, to challenge myself as a performer, and to recreate that performance adrenaline energy. And again, I had to tell myself, no music and you cannot stop. And that is very similar to a competition, my dolls. No matter what happens, you have to keep going. You just have to keep going. The show must go on. That saying is there for a reason. So I was excited. I was nervous. I was happy that I get to play this piece and present it to a virtual, but present it to an audience after working on it for the entire school year. I am still gonna hopefully compete with this piece next year, but right now, this is a snapshot of where I am, and I think this is the best level of the Kammermusik I have had. It's been fun to grow as a cellist with this piece, and I am so excited to share it with you all. So the piece is a little over 20 minutes long, and I wanted to kind of give this intro as a way to make the piece fun to listen to, so you guys can kind of listen and craft your own story in your head. And I also just wanted to talk with you dolls about this piece that a lot of people don't know about, and it really is a gem. Again, it's 20 minutes because I am playing, unfortunately, without accompaniment. Traditionally, you would play this piece with the chamber orchestra of 10 other musicians, or in a competition situation, I do have a pianist that I was working with all year, and the piano part has the orchestra part reduced. So the piano is playing and replicating the orchestra, so I can compete with it and make it a more realistic performance. So unfortunately, tonight, that part is missing. I don't have a pianist here, and so you're not actually hearing the entire concerto. You're hearing the solo part right now, but it's technical and flashy and still very entertaining, so I really wanted to share it with you all. I will be including links. If you guys are very interested in this piece, there is a professional recording on YouTube that I really enjoyed, and it was very important to me and crucial in my studies. I really reference this recording a lot. So I will include that in the comments below or in the description section, so you dolls can check out a live professional performance of this with an orchestra, so you can really hear a bigger picture if you're interested. So, thank you dolls in advance for hanging out with me as we lay down the entire Kammermusik number 3 by Paul Hindemith. So without further ado, it's time for a mock competition run through. Let's do it. Oh my. Well, my dolls, if you are still here with me, thank you. Thank you so much for watching this performance run through of Hindemith's Kammermusik number 3, Concerto for Solo, Cello, and Chamber Orchestra. This is such a unique piece. It's not played a lot, so I'm very happy I can share it with you all today. So basically, I was preparing this piece all year for the concerto competition at my conservatory, but like a lot of schools and institutions, that had to get postponed because of the coronavirus, and I have been working on this piece all year. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna do a mock competition like run through where I can't stop, I can't use music, and that's what I did for you dolls today. So thank you so much for watching. That's a lot of support that you guys might not realize. That really means a lot to me, and I hope you guys enjoyed that piece. Once again, I am the Cello Doll, and you can find me here on YouTube as well as Instagram and Facebook. And also, I am on Patreon for those of you who like to donate on that platform to artists. And lastly, totally optional, as I said, you guys coming to these live streams is so important, and I feel the support and love, and that's amazing. Another option, if you would like to donate a one-time donation to sponsor these concerts, I do have information below for my PayPal and Venmo. Again, optional, totally not required. Thank you guys. Celli and I will see you next time, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend and stay safe and in good health. We're thinking of you. Bye, my dolls.